Welcome to 1/4 is Boring, where today I'll be taking you down a road. No, not an actual road, but more like a road that's actually just a weak metaphor to describe the fact that I'm going to be telling you about a super specific type of road. Not just any old road, an interstate highway. More or less like the system, but let me go over some history with you first. Imagine, it's 1903 and you and your buddy, whose name rhymes with crockpot, go out and the two of you decide to drive from your comfy homes in San Francisco all the way to New York. Well, seems pretty simple, right? Well, not so much. You and your friend decide to drive your state-of-the-art automobile in the early 1900s over hundreds of individual dirt roads and railroads. Of course, it took a ton of time and it did get some attention from the press, but guess what? People wanted to do it too. So these people created the Lincoln Highway in 1912, and several other states started following with their own interstate roads. And then the interstate roads kind of sort of got even bigger because states got together and made an association with an acronym so big it was only 6 characters long, which is too long for even me to read. Then that organization got together and said a bunch of these dirt roads were now U.S. highways. And then there was a bunch of disagreements, and they still couldn't decide until 1925. And then they still had disagreements and a big renumbering and some other stuff, which gives us U.S. highway system today with the iconic shield on it, which you might notice from the U.S. 66 sign, which is a sign from a decommissioned highway. Then World War II happened, and the military noticed it was kind of hard to move military stuff along these former dirt roads, and then in 1952, Eisenhower, a former general, gets elected president. Eventually, the president decided that he was going to create something so big that it was going to alter the entire country. He established NASA. He also signed into law an act that created the modern interstate highway system, which consists of a lot of controlled roads. What is a controlled road? A controlled road is a road that you don't have to stop and you don't have places to stop. You have to actually exit the road to stop. It just keeps going with no stop signs or stoplights unless you're on an interstate in Los Angeles on Thanksgiving weekend where it's just simply faster to walk to the airport. Yeah, that's a lot of traffic. And that's what interstates are, except in this weird exception in Breezewood, Pennsylvania, where there are traffic lights on an interstate highway, and it's kind of weird because it breaks a couple of the rules. And to be an interstate, you have to have some standards. It's not like you can expect to get a ring out of just having a cow trail. Interstates, in short, have to be controlled access, go 70 miles per hour most of the time, have a vertical angle of less than 6 degrees, have big lanes and big shoulders, be sloped so the rain won't puddle, and have at least 16 feet of overhead space, and have reflective markings on the roads. You may be watching this and be like, well, my house has a road nearby, and it has all these standards, but it doesn't have that blue shield with a number on it. Sorry, buddy, you have to be designated by that organization with a long name that has 6 characters to be designated an interstate. And then you also have to have all the signing and stuff like that and all this other bureaucratic stuff, which is totally efficient. And some of you ADHD-ridden individuals may be wondering if these didn't exist before 1955, how did the whole system get done in 1992? And well, that's a good... Wait, I haven't even said when the interstate highway system was, actually said by the government to be completed yet. You already looked it up? Okay. Well, to answer your question, the U.S. government was more efficient in those times because you had the Vietnam War, some sour relationships with the USSR, and whatever that Cuban ordeal was going back in the 1950s. And, in short, all these global events were maybe or maybe not used as propaganda to expand the military-industrial complex, which in turn caused interstate highways to be rapidly constructed because interstates were originally made for military transportation, which also means the U.S. military can use highways at any time, no matter what disruptions it may have to your morning traffic schedule for any reason, including transporting nuclear weapons across the country. Yeah. To show you how quickly the U.S. used to build up interstate highways, here's a map of Georgia and Florida, and I'm going to draw the completed portion of I-75 in 1962. Yeah, there's nothing. Now I'm going to draw the completed map of 1967, and yeah, they completed a lot. One of the reasons why they got built so quickly is because cities wanted them built so that they could grow economically, and because of that, there was totally no corruption whatsoever, leaving nobody out. Anyway, basically, interstate highways are highways that were originally made for the military that were also used for fast transportation in vehicles until Gerald Ford decided that everyone must drive slow. Then Reagan said you could drive a little faster, and then Clinton just repealed the National Speed Limit Act, which basically meant that any state could make an interstate that had a speed limit of 100 billion gazillion miles per hour, or about it, and I don't know how many joules seconds per gram kilometer for all you metric creatures that may have watched this video. To all of you who are wondering why I-3, I-14, I-26, I-42, I-49, I-67, I-69, I-74, I-86, I-92, I-98, and I-99, and several other auxiliary interstate routes haven't been completed yet, even though they were approved by Congress and are supposed to receive funding because the U.S. basically stopped caring about them. Why? Well, as the Cold War progressed, people discovered it actually wasn't illegal to protest their property being forcibly sold to the government, so the highway could just be built on it, and you see that in a lot of cities, which is a whole nother video. And that pretty much led to congressmen being like, okay, I'm just not going to care about it, and the interstate system was supposed to get completed completely in 1968, but it wasn't even complete until 1992, and even then it's arguable whether it was actually complete or not. And even though the U.S. was building stuff so quickly, it would make you question why the pothole in your road to work is still there. They still worked very, very fast. From probably before 1970, they worked really, really fast. But do you want to know how you can get to work quicker? Oh wait, I don't even have a sponsor to pay me to endorse a crummy product and then explain to you why you should totally buy it. Yeah, this is the end of the video. You can click off now. There's a back button and an X for a reason. Oh, so you're one of those nerds who uses autoplay? Well, here's your autoplay.